We're just gonna go. Screw it. People will pop in when they do. We'll start from the beginning. Ooh, the art looks so good. Mr. Sawit looks so demonic. Alright, we hit enter. Oh, it's auto-scrolling. Oh, shit. This is really fast auto-scroll. I should probably change this. Or maybe that part's just auto-scroll. Why am I nervous? Should I voice all the parts? Ooh, I'm glad I made it on time. I have to say, Phoenix, I'm impressed. With what? Not everyone takes a murder trial right off the bat. I've watched some videos about this, and this is very true. You definitely wouldn't want a first-time attorney on a murder case. Huh. The lines in this are like updated, but it looks very Illustrator. It's not very high res. It bothers me a little bit. The background looks better, but like Mia herself kind of looks weird with all this extra shading. It says a lot about you and your client as well. Thanks. Actually, it's because I owe him a favor. That's not a good reason to represent someone in court. I think that's actually very bad. Like, that's kind of like problematic to representing a client. A favor. Defendant before this case? Oh, I guess she's gonna come down on for it. Yep. I don't owe my current job to him. Reason he became an attorney. That's news to me. This seems kind of weird. Her eyes just like. Her eyes kind of. She looked like she's some part of some Naruto clan. I want to help him out any way I can. Just really want to be a help to him. I owe him that much. Respectable. It's over. My life and everything is all over. What up, Stubaka? Is that the client? Yeah, it's him. I hope nobody ever actually says that, like, when they're freaking out. Death, despair, oh, I'm gonna die. Sounds like he wants to die. Sounds like a lot of people... Yeah, it sounds like a lot of millennials. Well, yeah. Nick. It's... You know, how did they come up with the name, Phoenix Wright? Like, I like how they came up with the name Nick, you know, like Phoenix, Nick. But, how did they get that from Naruhodo? Which is like, aha, I see. That's how it is. Phoenix is a cool name, though. I don't know if I'd name my kid that, but, either that the kids who are named Phoenix are either, like, super cool or super edgy. And Larry. Super guilty. You know, I wonder if anybody could take that as an admission of guilt. Give me the death sentence, I ain't afraid to die. I don't think Japan has the death sentence. And depending on what state, I don't think you have the death penalty in most places. What's wrong, Larry? It's all over. I'm finished. Can't live in a world without her. I can't. Damn, sounds like everyone's first relationship. Who took her away from me, Nick? Who did this? Gotta tell me. The person responsible for your girlfriend's death. Well, my name is Phoenix Wright, or Naruhodo, I don't remember his actual name. Here's the story. My first case is a fairly simple one. Is it really, though? I think the last case was number 4. Is this your first playthrough? I played this game many years ago, like on the DS, like when I was like a young lad with my brother, and they just came out with this remaster, and I want to revisit the game. I had a few people asking me that they wanted me to play through this, and I love this game, I really do. And if you notice, like, it has a lot more updated, everything's in widescreen, which is why it's weird to do an overlay for this, but... Alright. A young woman was killed in her apartment. The guy they arrested was the unlucky sap dating her. Larry Butts. How did they come up with that name? My best friend since grade school. That's a real friendship. You don't see many of those. Our school had the saying, when something smells, it's usually the butts. I wonder if they specifically made his name so they could have that line in there. In the 23 years I've known him, It's usually been true. So they're like in their late 20s, I guess. He has a knack for getting himself into trouble. One thing I can say, though, it's usually not his fault. He just has terrible luck. But I know better than anybody that he's a good guy at heart. Man, that's the real one. The heart of gold. That and I owe him one, which is why I took this case, to clear his name, to clear the butts. And that's just what I'm gonna do. Well, that looked weird. Whoa, Judge looking fresh. Look at, man, you can see like way more locks on his beard. I don't even remember him having like that thick of an outline. They gave everything like a really thick outline in this game, and it works sometimes with like the shading on this beard. Santa looking ass. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Larry Butts. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Defense is ready. Mr. Wright. This is your first trial, is it not? I don't think the judge would ask that. Yes, Your Honor. I'm a little nervous. Arms weak. Palms are sweaty. Your conduct during this trial will decide the fate of your client. No shit. Murder is a serious charge. Really. For your client's sake, I hope you can control your nerves. Thanks. Thanks, Your Honor. Given the circumstances, I think we should have test to ascertain your readiness. Really? Is that something they do? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you for the follow, dude. I aim to grow a beard like the judge. Dude, there's no way that Judge is Japanese, because Asian people can't grow beards like that. That just doesn't happen. That we get this, which I have right now. We get like the long pencil mustache, and sometimes you get a Fu Manchu. That's it though. We don't get that great big bushy beard. Gulp, hand shaking, eyesight fading. The test will consist of a few simple questions. Answer them clearly and concisely. Please state the name of the defendant in this case. Is it me? Is it my mentor? Or is it my best friend? Well, I think it's Larry, so. Well, that's Larry Butts, of course. Correct. Good. Keep your wits about you and you'll do fine. Next question. This is a murder trial. We've stated that like 3 times. Tell me what's the victim's name. I know this one glad I read the report to cover many times. The follow notification came through. A second. Sorry about that, I'm kind of sick. Wait, it's... Uh-oh. Forgot totally drawing a blank here. That is pretty bad for a court proceeding. Phoenix, are you absolutely sure you're up to this? Damn, Mia looks so much more shocked in this version. The blinking is kind of weird, not gonna lie. It's like 3 frames. You don't even know the victim's name? The victim, of course, I know the victim's name. I forgot temporarily, just like the second game. I think I feel a migraine coming on. Look, the victim's name isn't listed in the court record. Just press tab to check at any time. Thankfully, I remember it. Remember to check it often. Please do so. I'm begging you. It's not Mia. Cinderblock. We have a funny story about a guy named Cinderblock. We call it Cinderblocking in Smash. Usually, when you finish a game, you like go like good game and you fist bump. To Cinderblock somebody is when somebody holds out like good game that you punch their hand. So Cinderblock is a funny thing in our local Smash community. It's the name for a guy when a guy gets really salty and when he fist bumps, he punches the shit out of your hand. Victim's name is Cindy Stone. It's like a porn star's name. Correct. I'm only a little sick. I just have phlegm now. Also, hi Velvet. Now tell me, what was the cause of death? She died because she was poisoned, hit with a blunt object, or strangled. I don't know how you, I don't think you'd be able to poison or strangle a stone. You'd probably break it with a blunt object, so we'll go with breaking it with a blunt object. Struck once by a blunt object. Did we really know that was once? That must have been a very precise strike. Correct. You've answered all my questions. I see no reason why we shouldn't proceed. Seem much more relaxed. Good for you, Mr. Wright. Thank you, because I do not feel relaxed. Look at those sweat beads. Man, it looks so weird being in like updated graphics. Like it's like the extra shading and like just the hard outlines to everything. Well then. First, a question for the prosecution. Mr. Winston Payne presiding. Yes, Your Honor. As Mr. Wright just told us, the victim was struck with a blunt object. Would you explain to the court what the blunt object was? The murder weapon was the statue of the Thinker. I see it. It was found laying on the floor next to the victim. I see. The court accepts it into evidence. Establishing discovery. That's part of the legal system. The statue is rather heavy. I mean, it's made out of... I don't know what it's made out of. Right? Be sure to pay attention to any evidence during this trial. Evidence is the only ammunition you have in court. Just have to check the court record. I'm just curious, what does a court record look like? Oh, this is a lot. This is a nice little UI. It's pretty simple. No one would believe I was a defense attorney if I didn't carry this. Is that true? Do they have badges? Like, does that come with a gun? Do attorneys get badges and guns? Cindy's autopsy report. Are we able to, like, check it? Or, like, oh, it just says, cause of death, loss of blood due to blunt trauma. And the statue. What's profiles? Oh. Let's see. Mia's 27. My boss and a very good defense attorney. Wait, I would make her, like... Oh, so in their early 20s. I thought... Wait, grade school... Wait, that's a typo, because he said 23 years ago is when Larry and him are, like, did that thing where, like, it inspired him to become a defense attorney. But that would mean that they did that when they were 0 years old. I think that's a typo. Because you can't have... He said he knew him since grade school, but since he's 23 and he said 23 years ago, that would mean he's known him since he was born. That doesn't make any sense. Defense... Likeable guy. Is he really that likable? Cindy Stone... 22, victim model, lived in an apartment by herself. Winston Payne, age 52, stereotypical Japanese working lawyer guy. Generally bad at getting his points across. Damn. Tell him, Phoenix. Call the witness. Prosecution calls Mr. Butts to the stand. What do I do now? Pay attention. Don't want to miss any information that might help you in your client's case. You get your chance to respond to the prosecution later, so be ready. Let's just hope that he doesn't do anything unfortunate. Alright, see you later, Velvet. Alright, uh-oh. Larry gets excited. This could be bad. Larry looking pretty clean, actually. Mr. Butts, is it not true that... Why do people say that? Is it not true that the victim had recently dumped you? Damn. Rude. Hey, watch it, buddy. We were great together. We were Romeo and Juliet, Cleopatra, and Mark Antony. Really? That's not great. Yeah, didn't they all die? I wasn't dumped, she just wasn't taking my phone calls or seeing me ever. We've all been there, haven't we? What's he to you anyway? Mr. Butts, what do you describe as generally what we mean by dumped? Objection. Leading. In fact, she has completely abandoned you and was seeing other men. Oh. Finding this out in court sounds brutal. She just had returned from overseas with one of them the day before the murder. What do you mean one of them? Yeah, that sounds sus as fuck, I agree. Lies. All of it lies. I don't believe a word of it. Your Honor, the victim's passport. So she... Oh yeah, right. So this actually takes place in the US. When they put it over to English, they made it so it takes place in the US, but I believe it originally takes in Japan. Because it's this weird, like, future hybrid of the law systems of Japan and America. According to this, she was in Paris until the day before she died. Passport added to the court record. Returned the day before the murder. Dude, no way. The victim was a model, but she did not have a large income. From what I've heard, modeling does, like, unless you're a big model, it's true, it doesn't actually pay that much. It appears she had several sugar daddies. No comment. Daddies? Sugar? Like the candy? Yes, older men who gave her money and gifts in exchange for, you know, whatever the hell else. You know, I'm surprised that, you know, this is a pretty, like, fairly adult topic. She took their money and used it to support her lifestyle. Dude! I agree. We can clearly see what kind of woman Miss Stone was. Okay, that's rude. Paying you crotchety old ass, 52-year-old. Tell me, Mr. Butts, what do you think of her now? Right. I don't think you want him to answer that question. Yeah, Larry has a way of running his mouth in all the wrong directions. Seems like it. Should I wait and see? I kind of want to hear what he actually has to say. What do you guys think? Should we let him see what he has to say, or stop him from answering? How do we want to play this? Do we want to play this like the legit attorney, or do we want to have fun with it? I don't think anything happens if we let him run his mouth. Can I random it? Alright, we'll go with that. My client had no idea the victim was seeing other men. Did you have to object first, or whatever? The question is irrelevant to the case. No, that question is relevant, because that would give him motive to want to, like, bash her head in. Not the best motive, but it is motive. Oof, wince. Has anybody ever heard anybody making a wince, like a sound? Dude, Nick, what do you mean irrelevant? What do you think? That's that cheating she-dog. Because I can't say bitch. I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna drop dead. Yeah, when I meet her in the afterlife, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. Let's continue with the trial, shall we? I believe the accused's motive is clear to everyone. Okay, so what I said. Yeah, quite. Oh, this is not looking good. I agree. Next question. You went to the victim's apartment on the day of the murder, did you not? Well, did you or did you not? Well, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. That's never a good thing to I love that twitch they added, like right in his right eye. He went. What do I do? Lie like a dog. It's so weird that everyone looks so shiny. Like, Phoenix's eyes look so, like that glint in his eye with the highlight. I don't remember? You don't remember? I agree. Well then, we'll just have to remind you. Have a drink of water. I got a bad feeling about this. We have a witness that can prove he did go to the victim's apartment that day. Well, that simplifies the matter. Who's your witness? The man who found the victim's body. Just before making the gruesome discovery. I don't think they usually have the accused up on the stand as a witness per se, or like to be examined like this. They usually call them first. He saw the defendant fleeing the scene of the crime. triple gavel tap. Order in the court. Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its witness. Yes, Your Honor. This is bad. On the day of the murder, my witness was selling newspapers at the victim's building. Who sells newspapers at buildings? Please bring Mr. Frank Sawit to the stand. I wish I knew the original names. Mr. Sawit, you sell newspaper subscriptions, correct? Oh yes, newspapers. I guess back in the day, maybe people did this in Japan or whatever, or even in America, but people don't care about newspapers anymore. It's a dying art form. Mr. Sawit, you may proceed with your testimony. Please tell the court what you saw the day of the murder. Let's get it. I was going door to door selling subscriptions when I saw a man fleeing an apartment. I thought he might just be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. Damn. Larry's hair is so tall. Thinking it strange, I looked inside the apartment. Then I saw her lying there, a woman, not moving, dead. How'd you ascertain that she was dead? You should have, like, checked her pulse, man. Come on. I quailed in fright and found myself unable to go inside. I thought to call the police immediately. However, the phone in her apartment wasn't working. Convenient. I went to a park nearby and found a public phone. I remember the time exactly. It was 1 p.m. From what I remember looking at the case, her time of death was like 4 to 5 p.m., wasn't it? The man who ran was without a doubt the defendant sitting right over there. How can you be certain? Larry, why didn't you tell the truth? I can't defend you against testimony like that. Yes, we can. Incidentally, why wasn't the phone in the victim's apartment working? Your Honor, at the time of the murder, there was a blackout in the building. Aren't phones supposed to work during a blackout? Is that true? I don't know. Well, if it's like a wall plug-in, maybe not, because you have to plug it into the landline. Yes, Your Honor. However, some cordless phones do not function normally, I guess. And this is before, like, the prevalence of cell phones, I guess. The phone that Mr. Sawit used was one of those. Seems likely. Your Honor, I have a record of the blackout for your perusal. Which is Mrs. Stone Building was out noon to 6 p.m. So that just covers both times. I was going to say otherwise we'd be able to find a contradiction in that. Now, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. You may begin your cross-examination. Cross-examination? Come on, man. You went to law school. Alright, this is the real deal, right? What exactly am I supposed to do? Come on, man. Why you exposed lies in the testimony the witness just gave. Lies? What lies? He was lying? Your client is innocent, right? Then that witness must have lied in his testimony. Or is your client really guilty? How do I prove he's not? You hold the key. It's in the evidence. Compare the witness's testimony to the evidence at hand. There's bound to be a contradiction in there. First, find contradictions between the court record and the witness's testimony. Then, once you've found the contradicting evidence, present it and object in their face. Okay. Open the court record with tab. Contradictions. Okay. Let's not waste any time. It was the time, I'm pretty sure. Tab. How do I present? Oh, E. Yeah, let's go. You sure you found the body at 1 p.m.? Yes, it was 1 p.m. for certain. Frankly, I find that hard to believe. Yeah, the jams. I love this theme. It's so good. Your statement directly contradicts the autopsy report. The autopsy notes the time of death sometime after 4 p.m. There was no body to find at 1 p.m. How do you explain this 3-hour gap? Oof, he's sweating. Oh, that, I wonder if they updated the sound files a little bit. This is trivial. The witnesses merely forgot the time. It's not trivial. He was so certain, though. After his testimony, I find that hard to believe. Mr. Sawit? Why were you so certain that you found the body at 1 p.m.? That's a really good question. Great job, right? Way to put him on the spot. That's all you have to do. Point out contradictions. Lies always beget more lies. See through one, and their whole story falls apart. Oh wait, I remember now. Would you care to give your testimony again? Alright. Amended testimony. Time of discovery. See, when I found the body, I heard the time. There's a voice saying it was the time was probably coming from the television. Blackout. But it was 3 hours off, wasn't it? I guess the victim must have been watching a taped program. Who watches taped programs? This was in the, like, mid-2000s. That's why I thought it was 1 p.m. Terribly sorry about the misunderstanding. I see. You heard a voice saying a taped program. Cross-examine the witness. Right? You know what to do. I got this one. Yeah, this one's pretty obvious. Right. Court record. Blackout report. Bitch. Hold it right there. The prosecution said there was a blackout at the time of discovery. And this record proves it. Eesh. You couldn't have heard the television or a video. Gah. The defense has a point. Do you have an explanation for this, Mr. Sawit? No, I do find it quite puzzling myself. Quite. I remember now. Mr. Sawit? The court would prefer to hear the accurate testimony from the very beginning. These constant corrections are harming your credibility. That and you seem rather distraught. Yeah, Mr. Sawit saw nothing. My apologies, Your Honor. It must have been the shock of finding the body. I mean, that is pretty horrifying. Some people I know have wandered into dead bodies in their job. It's pretty traumatic. Very well, Mr. Sawit. Let's hear your testimony once more with feeling. Hearing the time. Actually, I didn't hear the time. I saw it. Ha! Very funny. There's a table clock in the apartment that wasn't there. Yeah, the murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. Must have been what I saw. Saw a clock. I guess that would explain it. Cross-examine gladly. I think it has to do with the fact that nobody can tell that it was a clock. Yeah, because it's not a clock. Wait just a moment. The murder weapon wasn't a clock, it was this statue. Now how is this supposed to be a clock? We're on the hunt, baby. What? You with your objections and this evidence. Just who do you think you are? Just answer the question, Mr. Saw It. Hey, I saw it over there. That's a clock. Your Honor, if I may. Yes, Mr. Payne? As the witness said, this statue is indeed a clock. How would you know that from looking at it? The neck is a switch. You can tilt it and it says the time out loud. It doesn't look like a clock. I submitted it as a statue. My apologies. That's a pretty big fuck up, man. Come on. I see. So the murder weapon was the table clock after all. Well, Mr. Wright, it appears that the witness testimony was correct. This is a clock. Do you have any problems with this testimony? Of course I do. Your Honor, there is a gaping hole in this witness's testimony. The only way he could have known this weapon was a clock is to hold it in his hand. Yet the witness testified that he never entered the apartment. Very good point. Clearly, a contradiction. Indeed. The witness knew it was a clock because he knew the victim or went into the apartment. Which one's more likely? Went into the apartment. You're lying. Because you're lying. You were inside the apartment on the day of the murder. Oh yeah, prove it. Prove I went in there. I'll do better than that. I can prove the one who killed it. That's a jump. We're going all in. You struck her with the clock and the shock of the blow triggered the clock's voice. This is, I think it's like hearsay or whatever it is. That was the sound you heard. Yeah, that's definitely hearsay. Order in the court. Intriguing. Please continue, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. It's very... I wonder if he's just like, this is what's going on in his head. Mr. Saw It? The sound must have left quite an impression on you. Left an impression on her, if you know what I'm saying. Understandable, since the murder weapon... Why would you hit him with... Why would you hit her with it like that? Understandable, since the murder weapon you just spoke as you hit the victim. The voice was burned into your mind. That's why you were so certain about the time. Well, what's the meaning of this? This is all baseless conjecture. Baseless? It is hearsay. Just look at the witness's face. Would the witness care to elaborate? Yes, would you? Did you strike the victim with the clock? Did you commit the murder? I never. Look, the clock, oh. Shut up, I hate you. It was him, I tell you, I saw him. He killed her and he should burn. Give him death. Order in the court. Your Honor, a moment, please. This is usually when you would call for a short recess. There isn't a shred of evidence supporting the defense's claims. Mr. Wright. Your Honor, you claim the sound the witness heard came from the clock. Do you have any evidence? The whole case is riding on this. I better think through this character. Your Honor, Mr. Saw It sound that he heard was definitely the clock. In fact, which is clear, would simply... Try sounding the clock, yeah. Let's sound the clock. Now, here in this court. Your Honor, may I have the clock? Is that something you're allowed to do? Mess with the evidence? I ask the court to listen very carefully. I think it's 8:25. That certainly is a strange way to announce the time. I mean, it's the thinker. The judge looks super surprised, man. Jesus. Well, he's the thinker after all. So we've heard the clock. What are your conclusions, Mr. Wright? Mr. Payne, can you tell me what time it is now? It's 11:25. Yeah, 3-hour gap. As you can see, the clock is exactly 3 hours slow. Precisely the discrepancy between what Mr. Saw It heard and the actual time of death. So, Mr. Saw It, try to talk your way out of this one. It looks like a freaking ape right now. Jesus, what's up with that forehead? It's so weird that they only animated like the lower half of his head and his chest, but like the top of his head is so still. It's so weird. Ha ha ha. You forgot one thing. Uh-oh, what's he talking about now? While it may seem like the clock is running 3 hours slow, it proves nothing. How do you know it was running 3 hours slow the day of the murder? That is a good counterpoint. If you can't prove that, you don't have a case. I think that would be correct. He's right, how am I supposed to prove that? Damn it, I was so... Mr. Wright, it seems you lack the critical evidence to support your claim. Yes, Your Honor. This means I cannot let you indict the witness. Unfortunately, this ends the cross-examination of Mr. Frank Sawit. I came all the way down here. I came all the way down to CMU to get tech chased by a goddamn lawyer. I came all the way down here to testify, and look what happens. You treat me like a criminal, which you are. You lawyers are all slime. I almost had him. Sorry, Larry, I failed you. I've dishonored you. There's nothing I can do about it now. Not so fast, Mr. Sawit. Chief, listen up, right? Don't throw this one away. Not like this. Think. Use your brain thingy. But Chief, it's over. Come on, man. Can't prove the clock was slow the day of the murder. Nobody can prove that. Well, yes. See, it's funny. I always thought that Mia kind of acted like she always knew what was going on, but she just never tell you. Like, I would assume that your supervising attorney that's supervising, like, you know, the young green guy would help him out. That doesn't mean you can't still win. Try thinking out of the box. Don't waste time doubting the facts. Assume the clock was 3 hours slow and think through it. Reverse engineering it. Why was the clock 3 hours slow? Figure out the reason and show your proof. I do remember this. Right? Can you think of a reason why the clock was 3 hours slow? Of course. If you can prove it, you have evidence somewhere that you can prove it, right? Find them and let him have it. Well, Mr. Wright, you say the clock was running slow on the day of the murder. Have you found evidence to support this claim? Of course. There's a piece of evidence. I mean, honestly, this piece of evidence doesn't really prove anything. It just makes it. It gives it reason. There's a piece of evidence in the court record that can be plainly beyond doubt. Words. Let's see you find this evidence. Passport. Well, that's weird. Like the little UI shrunk. The victim had just returned home from the day abroad before the murder. As we know, the time difference between Paris is 9 hours. I wouldn't just know that offhand. I know about you guys. Just like, as we all know, it's obvious. Of course you know all the time zones of the major cities. When it's 4 p.m. here, it's 1 a.m. the next day there. The clock wasn't 3 hours slow, it was 9 hours fast. The victim hadn't reset her clock since returning home. Why would you take that? Like, I know it's like she took it on a trip with her, but why would you take that? That's why the time you heard was when you struck her in the head was wrong. Proof enough for you, Mr. Sawit? Or say Mr. Did It? Oh my god, Phoenix, come on. Oh, he just frosted the mouth and just keels over. Order, I say. Well, this case has certainly turned out differently than we all expected. Mr. Payne, your witness? He was arrested and taken away, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? I have to say I'm impressed. I don't think I've ever seen someone complete a defense so quickly. Is that really that quick? I mean, in real-time law, it would be very, very quick. And to find the true culprit at the same time, that is also very uncommon. Thank you, thank you, Your Honor. At this point, this is only a formality, but the court finds the defendant, Mr. Larry Butts. Yozai! Everything's so like just character drawn there, like an actual like court proceeding. And with that, court is adjourned. Turns out that Frank Sawit was a common burglar. He posed as a newspaper salesman to check and see when people were out of the house. This is a real thing that people do, by the way. They you often like from all these documentaries I've heard, they walk around and kind of like they case houses and they like check up to see if they're really like robbable and worth it. That day, when Larry went to her apartment, the victim wasn't home. After he left, Sawit let himself in to do his dirty work. Come on, Larry, lock the damn door. And this is like very like airbrush drawn. While he was searching in the place, the victim returned. Flustered, Mr. Sawit grabbed the nearest blunt object he could find and... Why'd she open the door and then walk in towards her robber? She should have ran out. Whew, I still can't believe we won. Right, good job in there. Congratulations. Thanks, Chief. I owe it all to you. Not at all, not at all. You fought your own battles in there. It's been a while since I've been seen a trial end on such a satisfying note. Get used to it. Well, you won't get used to it. You will have your moment. Never seen the Chief looking so happy. If she's this glad, imagine how Larry must feel. My life is... Oh. Larry, you're supposed to be happy. What's wrong now? Aw, Nick. Don't worry about me. I'll be dead and gone soon. Good. Wait. No, I mean bad. Bad, bad, bad. Larry, you're innocent. The case is closed. My Cindy Windy is gone forever. Larry, never mind. Congratulations, Harry. Harry? Harry Butts? Harry? Oh my god. That's like my Uncle Harry Chin. I really owe you one? I won't forget this ever. Let's celebrate dinner. Movie? My treat? Oh, I know. He trying to hit on my boss, man? What the fuck? Come on, man. That's not cool. Yeah, it was the one who got you off the hook. Oh, hey. Take this as a present. I don't think you can take evidence like that. Is it evidence that actually made... Oh, okay. I made this clock for her. Made one for me, one for her. Really? You made this? Press X to doubt. Well, thank you. I'll keep it as a memento. Yo, Nick. Can you believe it? I was so into that chick, and she was just playing me for a fool. Don't that make you just want to cry? Larry? Are you so sure? Squeeze me? I hate people who say that. I think she thought quite a lot of you in her own way. You know, when she was banging those other dudes, she was like, oh, but I got this guy back in America. Nah, you don't gotta sympathize with me. It's okay. Oh, I'm not just sympathizing, really. Isn't that right? Right? Ha, isn't that right? Don't you have something to show your friend? Something that proves how she felt about him? Oh yeah, right. The heck is she talking about? Of course she's talking about my attorney badge. Take this, throws it at Larry. Check this out, Larry. Proof positive you weren't some chump to her. But what about the clock? Here's the clock that you made for her, Larry. Made. And she took it with her when she traveled. Remember, she probably just needed a clock, that's all. You think so? It's a pretty heavy clock to take traveling. I agree. Very not practical. Well, make of it what you will. Hey, Nick. I'm glad I asked you to be my lawyer. Really, I am. Thanks. Hope that made him feel a little better. Right? I hope you see the importance of evidence now. Also, hopefully you realize that things change depending on how you look at them. People too. Hey, what's up, Danny? Thank you for the host. Well, I hope you're doing pretty well. I've just been playing this goofy game. You were probably playing Melee or something. We never really know if our clients are guilty or innocent. All we can do is believe in them. And in order to believe in them, you have to believe in yourself. What? Right? What's up, Danny? Listen, learn, grow strong. Never let go of what you believe in. Never. Somebody just messaged me on Facebook. Ready to shooting like 30-40 minutes to it. Eh, don't worry about it, dude. I appreciate the host anyway. Sorry, Juna's asking me about stuff for Hop. Well, I think our work here is done. Shall we be off? Yeah, I guess so. Thanks for the follow, Danny. Say, how about dinner on me? Oh, you know, I think that kind of violates the whole boss employee relationship. Maybe, you know. I don't know. We'll drink to a toast to an innocent butts. Hey, don't worry about it, man. I just appreciate the host and I appreciate you coming through, dude. Yeah. Oh, speaking of Harry, she just refuses to call him Larry. What is his name? You were saying part of why you became a lawyer was because of him. Yeah, part at least. You'll have to tell me about it more sometime, maybe over drinks. Yeah, you giving me that look. You give me that look, girl. And so my first trial came to a close. Larry slapped me on the back and said, "Gee, Nick, it's good to have friends." One of my friends really enjoys the series. It's a great series, honestly. It's a lot of fun. But I'm pretty sure he's not going to pay us unless you count the clock he gave me. Pro bono work is important for lawyers. I didn't know it then, but that clock was soon to be the center of another incident. Oh no. And my promise to tell the chief about me and Larry would be a promise that I wouldn't be able to keep. Dun dun dun. The end. Alright, that's the end of case 1. I love that little theme. God, red, white of Blue Corp just looks so egotistical right there. Let's save. Oh,